The city of Port Azzurri glittered under the African sun. It was a place where huge oil ships moved in the harbor and where the richest people lived in towers that touched the clouds. Khalid Bakari, 47, was one of those people, an oil millionaire known for his serious manner, his calm control, and his private life. But on a quiet Tuesday, Khalid's calm world exploded. He was found badly hurt inside his sparkling penthouse, and his fortune, which came from the earth, was sinking into a deep secret. The building's top security cameras showed the last person to enter his apartment while Khalid was alive. Emily Carter, a 26-year-old American tourist. Emily had come to Port Azzurri on a short trip, but she had stayed for 3 months, spending all her time with the millionaire. Soon, whispers flew across the country like wildfire. She hurt him because of a huge fight over money. He refused to help her save her family. It must have been an accident. But Detective Amara Soul, the lead investigator, knew that the truth hidden beneath all those rumors was much darker and far more carefully planned. Khalid Bakari lived a very quiet life of luxury. Everything was perfect, scheduled, and expensive. So when the neighbors started seeing a young American woman visiting him regularly, everyone was immediately curious. She wasn't like the other girls, a restaurant worker told the police. Emily Carter was bubbly, full of jokes, and completely unpredictable, the exact opposite of the controlled Khalid. They met at a fancy restaurant, and their relationship quickly grew, moving from secret dinners to huge weekend trips on private jets. Everything seemed perfect, until the night Emily whispered a desperate plea that changed everything. They were having dinner overlooking the city lights. Emily's voice was shaky. "Khalid, my family is in serious trouble. We need a huge loan. If we don't get it, we lose everything. I need your help to save us." Emily expected kindness and immediate help, but Khalid's face froze instantly. He stood up from the table, walked to the huge window, and stared out at the oil refineries. "Emily, I can't give you that kind of money. That is not part of our arrangement." She was stunned. "It can't happen, but I need this to save my family." His voice was cold, controlled. "Then you must find another way." Quietly. That was the moment the relationship completely cracked. Emily stormed out of the penthouse, vowing that he would regret treating her family like a disposable secret. Detective Amara Soul was sharp and relied on facts, not gossip. She studied the security footage from the building. The high-security floor required a hidden hallway microphone, and Amara was thrilled when she realized the audio of the fight had been recorded. The video footage showed 8:42 p.m. Emily entering the building, looking determined. 8:50 p.m. A loud, heated argument outside the penthouse door. Amara could hear Emily crying as she waited for the elevator, shouting about betrayal and secrets. 9:05 p.m. Emily leaving the elevator, tears streaming down her face. Then, the footage showed something that puzzled Amara. 9:13 p.m. Emily suddenly turning around at the main entrance, pulling her phone from her bag, and running back inside the building. She took the elevator back up to the penthouse floor. "Why did she go back?" Amara asked her partner, pausing the video. She was clearly leaving. Why return 8 minutes later? No one had an answer, but the question hung heavy in the high-tech control room. Khalid's body was found lying near the glass balcony doors. He was alive but unconscious, having suffered a severe, sharp blow to the head. There were no signs of forced entry. The expensive room was not ransacked. Just one broken whiskey bottle lay on the floor near his hand, and the terrible clue, Emily's fingerprint, was clearly visible on the neck of the broken bottle. Detective Amara frowned. "This wasn't an accident," she whispered. "It was extreme rage or desperation." But something didn't quite add up. Emily was small and slender. Khalid was a big, strong man, used to controlling difficult situations. It seemed unlikely she could overpower him so easily. Detectives searched the penthouse deeper. They didn't find any missing jewelry or cash, but they found a small, empty, black security folder lying open on Khalid's desk. The folder was labeled Project Aurora, Formula A. Khalid Bakari was one of the few people who knew the secret, super valuable formula for a new, cleaner oil extraction process. If that formula was stolen, it would be worth billions and would ruin Khalid's entire business. Amara now had a shocking new theory. Emily didn't return just to fight. She returned to steal. Emily was arrested later that morning at a small guest house by the beach. She was calm, exhausted, and almost peaceful. In the interrogation room, she quietly said, "I didn't steal anything. He attacked me first when I went back to apologize. I only grabbed the bottle to defend myself." Detective Amara leaned forward, ready to uncover the deception. Detective Amara Soul was in the interrogation room, facing Emily Carter. Emily, still calm but exhausted, maintained her story. She only went back to the penthouse to apologize, and Khalid attacked her, forcing her to defend herself with the whiskey bottle. "If Khalid attacked you first, Emily," Amara said, her voice steady and logical, "you would have defensive wounds, scratches, bruises, or marks on your arms where you tried to block a shove. The medical report shows no such injuries on you." Emily stammered, "He shoved me from behind. I didn't see it coming." "And the bottle," Amara continued, holding up a photograph of the broken glass. "You claim he swung the bottle at you first, but the only fingerprints on the body of the bottle, the part you'd hold to swing it, belong to Khalid." Amara paused for effect. "Your fingerprints, Emily, are only found on the neck of the bottle. That suggests you grabbed it after he set it down. You used it as a weapon against him, not as a shield for yourself." The self-defense story was falling apart under Amara's precise questioning. Emily wasn't a scared victim. She was a careful planner who was now struggling to keep her lies straight. Amara then focused on the huge loan request that had started the fight. "You said you returned to apologize for asking for the loan. That's a huge step," Amara noted. "But your story sounds rehearsed. It sounds like you were trying to create an excuse for going back into the penthouse after you clearly walked away." Amara looked Emily straight in the eye. "We know you went back, not to apologize, but to take something." Emily's eyes darted away. "I took nothing. He gave me nothing. I was just angry." Amara didn't press the point yet. She knew the secret formula folder, Project Aurora, was the real key, but she needed proof that Emily planned the theft, not just the argument. Amara left the interrogation room and immediately called her tech specialist, Jide. "Jide, forget the apartment," Amara ordered. "I need to know what Emily was doing on her phone after she left the penthouse the first time at 9:05 p.m. and before she went back at 9:13 p.m. 8 minutes. She used her phone. Find the records." Amara knew those 8 minutes held the true motive for the second entry, and it wasn't about love or apologies. Jide, the tech specialist, was brilliant at finding hidden secrets in the world of technology. He found the records of Emily's phone use during those critical 8 minutes. "Officer Amara," Jide reported. "She didn't call anyone. She sent a text message, but it wasn't from her main phone. It was from a burner phone, a cheap, untraceable phone she bought just for this trip." The burner phone was found quickly, hidden deep inside a ventilation grate in the guest house bathroom. Emily hadn't been searched thoroughly enough. Jide analyzed the messages on the secret phone. It only had one contact saved: the buyer. Amara and Jide looked at the messages together. They were cold, professional, and entirely focused on a business transaction. Emily to the buyer. He refused the loan. Now it's the hard way. The buyer to Emily. Do not make a scene. Get the package and leave. Emily to the buyer at 9:07 p.m. Going back up. He's shaken. Need 3 minutes. The loan story was a complete lie. It was a cover story designed to look like a personal argument. Emily wasn't in deep debt. She was a thief hired to steal something valuable. Amara now had the motive: industrial espionage. Emily wasn't trying to save her family. She was trying to steal a massive, multi-billion-dollar oil formula. She used the fake debt crisis to test his generosity, Amara realized. When he failed the test, she knew she had to take the secret formula by force. The messages proved that Emily had planned the second entry in those crucial 8 minutes. She went back up, not to apologize, but to steal the package, which Amara knew was the Project Aurora Formula A folder. "We need to find the formula, Jide," Amara commanded. "If she stole it, it's not in the penthouse. It's either on her or she passed it to someone else." Amara knew the next step. She had to confront Emily with the burner phone and the evidence of her cold, calculated plan to steal the formula. The game was no longer about self-defense. It was about professional, high-stakes theft. Detective Amara returned to the interrogation room, placing the small, cheap burner phone and the printout of the messages on the table. Emily's composure finally cracked. Her face drained of color. "Who is the buyer, Emily?" Amara asked, her voice quiet but firm. "Who hired you to steal Khalid's Project Aurora formula?" Emily stared at the table, realizing her entire plan had been exposed. She was no longer a sympathetic victim. She was a convicted liar. Amara laid out the truth. "You met Khalid on purpose. You charmed him for 3 months to get access to his penthouse and his secrets. The debt was a lie. The whole point of your visit was to steal Formula A for a rival oil company. You are a professional thief." Emily remained silent, but her silence was a confession. Amara continued, detailing the plan revealed by the messages. Phase 1, the test. Emily asked for the massive loan for her family's supposed debt. Phase 2, the betrayal. When Khalid refused, Emily used the argument as a cover to leave, contact the buyer, her employer, and get instructions to steal the formula. Phase 3, the theft. Emily returned to the penthouse at 9:13 p.m., not to apologize, but to execute the theft. "You took advantage of a man who trusted you, Emily," Amara said, shaking her head. "You almost killed him for money you didn't even earn." Amara knew that even with the phone evidence, she still needed the moment of truth inside the penthouse. She needed to know exactly how Emily had managed to overpower Khalid and how the fight started. "Jide, I want you to go back to the penthouse," Amara commanded. "I want you to check every single object, every air vent, every drawer. I have a feeling Khalid wasn't completely surprised by her plan. He was a millionaire. He had enemies. He would have known to protect himself." Amara had a strange sense that Khalid, the man who valued control above all else, would have been prepared for some kind of betrayal, even if he didn't expect the thief to be Emily. At the penthouse, Jide, the tech specialist, was crawling under the furniture, running electronic scans everywhere. He remembered Amara's instructions. Khalid was prepared. Jide checked the obvious places: under the desk, in the safe, behind the paintings. Nothing. Then, Jide got a thought. The hallway microphone had captured the first argument. What about the final confrontation? Jide checked the small, custom-built bar counter where the broken whiskey bottle had been found. He ran his hand underneath the marble surface, feeling for any bumps or cables. His fingers brushed against a small, cold piece of metal, carefully hidden and secured with tape. Plot twist 1. Jide found a tiny black voice recorder perfectly concealed beneath the bar counter. It was a professional recording device activated by a small remote switch. "Officer Amara, I found something," Jide called out, excitement ringing in his voice. Khalid knew. He suspected something was wrong. He installed a recorder right under the bar. Amara raced back to the penthouse. The voice recorder was a game changer. It meant that Khalid had recorded the entire final confrontation, from the moment Emily walked back in at 9:13 p.m. until the smashing of the bottle. Amara looked at the tiny device. Khalid was a controlled, careful man. He must have installed the recorder right after the first argument, suspecting Emily would return for a bigger confrontation, or that she would try to steal something when he was asleep. Jide carefully extracted the audio file and played it. The room filled with the clear, high-quality voices of the final, terrifying moments. The recording began with Emily walking in and Khalid immediately confronting her, not about the loan, but about the stolen formula. "Emily, stop threatening me," Khalid's voice boomed, stern and controlled. "Where is the Project Aurora Formula A folder? I saw it on my desk, and now it's gone." Khalid knew exactly what she was there for. Emily's personal plea for money had been a smokescreen. The entire police team gathered around Jide's computer as the chilling audio recording continued. It captured every word and sound from 9:13 p.m. until the crash. Khalid recorded, "I don't care about the loan. You stole my work. Give me the Formula A folder and I will let you walk away." Emily recorded, voice sharp with fear and anger, "It's too late. You should have helped me when I asked nicely. Now you will pay another way. My buyer is waiting." The recording proved everything. Emily was a thief working for a rival company, and she had the valuable formula. Khalid, now realizing the depth of her betrayal, sounded desperate to save his billion-dollar secret. Khalid recorded, "Emily, listen to me. That formula is not just money. It's dangerous if it falls into the wrong hands. Give it back." Then, the sound of a brief struggle, chairs scraping, a thump. Khalid was trying to block her exit and retrieve the folder. Emily recorded, shouting, "Let go of me. This is mine. I earned this." Khalid recorded a loud, pained cry, "No!" Then, the sickening sound of the glass bottle smashing, and Khalid's powerful voice ending in a sudden, sharp, gurgling scream. Then, silence. Detective Amara stopped the recording. The silence was deafening. "She didn't grab the bottle in self-defense," Amara stated, her voice tight with anger. "She used the bottle to silence him immediately after he caught her stealing. The moment he tried to stop her from leaving with the folder, she struck." The evidence was undeniable. Emily Carter was a cold, calculated thief and attacker who had used her charm to get close to a powerful man, only to betray him for a billion-dollar secret. Amara rushed back to the interrogation room, holding the voice recorder. It was time to show Emily the consequence of her calculated greed. Detective Amara placed the voice recorder on the table next to the burner phone. "Emily," Amara began, "you told us you went back to apologize. You told us Khalid attacked you. You told us you only grabbed the bottle in self-defense." Emily, already defeated by the sight of the burner phone, tried to sound confident. That is the truth. Amara pushed a button, and the small device filled the room with the clear, terrifying sound of the final confrontation. Khalid recorded, "Where is the Project Aurora Formula A folder? I saw it on my desk, and now it's gone." Emily's face went white. She heard her own voice, sharp and greedy, contradicting every lie she had told the police. Emily recorded, "It's too late. You should have helped me when I asked nicely. Now you will pay another way. My buyer is waiting." And then the sound of the violent struggle, the smashing glass, and Khalid's final, desperate cry. The recording finished. The silence that followed was heavy with guilt. "You didn't go back to apologize, Emily," Amara said, her eyes unwavering. "You went back to steal the oil formula for a rival company, and you struck him because he caught you. This was never about love or debt. It was about the biggest, fastest shortcut to fortune you could find." Emily broke down completely. Her shoulders shook, and the tears were real this time. Tears of anger and regret, not for Khalid, but for her own failure. "I didn't mean to hurt him so badly," she confessed, sobbing. "I just wanted him to let me go with the formula. I needed the money. I needed to be powerful." She confessed everything. She targeted wealthy men. She used the lie of family debt to test their generosity. And when Khalid failed, she turned to the theft of the secret formula, which she planned to sell to the buyer. Emily Carter was charged with aggravated assault, attempted industrial espionage, and tampering with evidence. Even with Emily's full confession, a vital piece of the puzzle was still missing: the Project Aurora Formula A folder. Emily insisted she had the folder on her when she was arrested, but the police search of her person and the guest house only yielded the burner phone. Amara was certain Emily had not passed the formula to the buyer because the attack happened so quickly after the theft. Emily must have hidden it somewhere in the penthouse during the struggle or the immediate aftermath. Amara ordered Jide and the entire forensic team to return to the penthouse and conduct a millimeter-by-millimeter search. "Think like a thief who needs to hide something quickly during a panic," Amara instructed the team. Where would she put it in the 8 minutes between the assault and leaving the penthouse? Jide focused on the escape route. Emily would have passed through the bathroom to clean the glass shards from her hands and check her appearance before leaving. Jide went to the penthouse master bathroom. It was a massive, elegant room with marble floors and polished brass fixtures. He tapped the walls, checked the cabinets, and then focused on the ventilation system above the shower. Jide took a ladder, removed the metallic vent cover, and shone his flashlight inside the dark duct. The formula was safe. The theft had been foiled. Khalid Bakari, still in critical condition, was rushed to a special overseas hospital by his family. His life was saved, and his billion-dollar secret was recovered. The exposure of Emily's plan, the fake debt, the betrayal, and the theft shook the glimmering oil city. It was a harsh warning to wealthy men who confuse charm with character, and to tourists seeking quick shortcuts to fortune. The trial of Emily Carter was a global spectacle, covered by news channels around the world. The image of the charming American tourist was replaced by the image of the calculated thief who almost ended a life for money. The evidence was overwhelming. The burner phone, proving the plan to steal the formula for the buyer. The voice recorder, capturing her greedy confession, and the moment of the attack. The formula folder, found hidden in the ventilation duct, confirming the theft. Emily's lawyers tried to argue that she was just a desperate girl trying to escape poverty, but Detective Amara's testimony, combined with the cold, hard facts of the recordings, proved this was a crime of professional greed, not desperation. During the sentencing, the judge addressed Emily directly, his voice echoing in the courtroom. "Ms. Carter, you didn't commit a crime of passion or self-defense. This was a crime of calculated greed. You exploited trust, manipulated affection, and risked a man's life for your own shortcut to fortune." Emily Carter was sentenced to a long term in prison. She had traded 3 months of luxury for many years of punishment. Khalid Bakari, the oil millionaire, slowly recovered from his injuries. He learned a difficult lesson. His controlled, secret life had opened the door to a dangerous betrayal. He was lucky to survive thanks to his own suspicion, installing the voice recorder, and the skill of Detective Amara Soul. Detective Amara, now a celebrated figure in Port Azzurri, used the case to train new investigators. She always emphasized the voice recorder. "Never underestimate human instinct," she would say. Khalid's gut told him he was being betrayed, and he recorded the proof. In a crime of greed, the victim often leaves the best evidence. The fate of Emily Carter became a permanent, harsh warning in Port Azzurri. She arrived seeking a shortcut to fortune and ended up losing her freedom. As she was escorted from the courthouse, Emily whispered one final bitter line, "If he had just agreed to help me, none of this would have happened." But those words only reinforced what the world already knew. This was never about saving her family or a genuine debt. It was always about power and easy money. Detective Amara Soul and her team secured the Formula A, preventing a massive industrial espionage scandal that would have hurt thousands of honest workers. The city was safe from Emily's calculated greed. In the end, Aya's story was a powerful lesson. Trust and honesty are more valuable than any amount of money. Calculated betrayal always leaves behind undeniable evidence, and no matter how much you try to hide your true motives with lies, the truth, captured by a small hidden microphone or a simple text message, will always find a way out. Emily Carter tried to take a shortcut to the top of the glittering oil city, but she ended up falling into the deepest, darkest secret of all. That greed is the most dangerous crime, and it always comes with the highest price.